welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are installing the CSF oil cooler on the M3, and we're doing this to improve cooling in the hot climates we have here in California, also in preparation for the dyno tune, to make sure we have the best results possible and keeping the engine as cool as possible on the dyno. There's going to be less airflow going into the cooling system of the car. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe. It'll help the channel a lot and it's completely free, so there's that bonus. And yeah, let's go look at the CSF cooler and then we'll start the installation process. Alright, so right here we have the CSF oil cooler. We'll open it up together to see what it looks like. Alright, so inside of the package you get the oil cooler. It looks like very high quality. Yeah, so this is what the oil cooler looks like. Very simple. It's thicker and it has more vanes. And the design is slightly different than the OEM to provide more cooling. So we'll have more volume, and the vane design is supposed to provide better cooling for the engine. And yeah, that's the only real benefit we see right now. Weight wise, I probably assume this is going to be heavier than the OEM one since it's bigger and thicker.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I think that's enough of talking about the boring stuff. Let's get straight into the install, and this should be a pretty quick and easy install. I'm just going to take this cover off quickly, and then once that's off, I'll walk you guys through the steps for taking off the oil cooler. So we'll see you in a bit. Alright, now that we've taken the cover off from underneath the engine, we get exposed to the oil cooler, which is this part right here, but kind of hard to show with the camera because it's very zoomed in. There's no way for me to zoom out. So the next step we're going to be doing is undoing this line right here, which is the oil cooler line, and goes into the oil cooler. Has one screw in the middle of it right there, and once we undo that, there's some oil that's going to come out, so you want to put an oil pan underneath it to catch the oil that's going to seep out. Once we do that, we'll let this drip out as much as it can so we don't create a mess, and then we're gonna undo this screw right here. So I'm touching right here. I don't have to show. There should be another one on the other side. So we've removed the OEM cooler from the car, and this is what it looks like. It's pretty small and tiny.
That's what she said.
Manufacturers do know how to make these pretty efficient, but compared to what we have for the upgrade right here, it's about twice the thickness of the OEM cooler, and it has an extra vane for cooling. So it should provide a lot more cooling on track and off track, so we should never have heat issues anymore. So now that we looked at the comparison, we're going to install this cooler now and see how it works in the car. Okay. Now we're under the car, everything's been installed back on. We had a little bit issue fitting the radiator in because the CSL tubing that goes into the intake is was kind of in the way right here. So right here was kind of in the way of fitting the lines in as well as the radiator. So we had to kind of move that out of the way a little bit, fit it in, and then we also thought we were going to have trouble with the radiator. The oil cooler not fitting on the radiator properly, because there was a huge gap. There was about probably like a centimeter or half an inch of gap right here, which is not good for airflow, since air is going to take the path of least resistance, so it wouldn't be going through the radiator, it'd just be going around it, or most of the airflow would be going around it. So we were able to push in the radiator as far as possible to kind of seal up the bottom edge, and we probably will create a shroud at one point to kind of seal up the whole oil cooler and provide the best airflow into it as possible. Yeah, so the next thing we're gonna do now is we're gonna swap out the oil, because I did run, I think, about 2,000 miles on the oil already, and I did have E85 for over 1,000 miles. So the oil is going to be really dirty, or not dirty, but the contaminants in the engine are going to be lifted off with the E85. So we want to swap out the oil, see how it looks. It looked a little bit darker, but I do also have additives, and then add some fresh oil and then fill up the oil cooler, and then we're gonna give it a start to see how everything goes. The CSF oil cooler is great. It fits really nicely. The finish was awesome. It was easy to install it. It literally took, I think, about 30 minutes to 45 minutes because I had to film and record, but it was super easy. You can do it pretty quickly. You just got to make sure to catch oil that's going to be coming out of the lines that go to the oil cooler. But if you do that, it's going to be a pretty quick and easy install. So we did the oil cooler upgrade. We changed we put in brand new oil again. So we've been doing oil changes at an interval of 1,500 currently. We've been adding liquid moly additives. So there's that. I'll link it down in the description. It's a really good additive. Stage 1 is cleaning out the engine, and then you put in Ceratec, which kind of like ceramic coats the internals, helps minimize wear on the engine. And then you have, for the next 4 oil changes, or the next 20,000 miles, that's what they recommend, but you have the next 4 stages of adding this additive, which is a low friction additive, so it also helps minimize wear and tear on the engine. So I'll be putting those down in the description if you're interested in how to maintain a healthy engine, and I highly recommend it. I've been using it for the past 4 years, and it's been really good on the cars. Yeah, so yeah, we wanted to do the oil cooler upgrade before we did the dyno tune. So we did the oil cooler, we did the oil catch can as well, which the video just dropped last week, and then I also behind the scenes did the oil change, brand new spark plugs, and made sure everything was operating in a good manner. What else? Also did a fresh valve adjustment on the car. So the valves just got adjusted as well. So we're pretty much set to deliver the best performance on the dyno that's possible. I may or may not do my injectors as well. I'll see how that goes. They're fine. I'm not worried about having to do them, but just as a preventative maintenance and to get the best, so I don't lean out at the dyno if that's in any way and shape possible with the NA car. I might do that and then just have everything set and ready to go for the dyno day. Oh yeah, I'll just go over, since I've been driving the car on the new CSF oil cooler. It works really well. The oil temps stay well below 210 now. I am running a Mishimoto radiator with the electric fan upgrade. And with the electric fan, I'm not sure if I would recommend it, since I used to get better lower temps, oil temps, when I used to have a mechanical fan than I did with the electric fan. But that could also be because our oil temps are estimated. They're not actual real oil temps, and the water temps stay on the half mark pretty much since I've done the Mishimoto upgrade, which they did before. So yeah, I don't know how to relate it, but with the oil cooler, the temps do stay below 210, and if I'm really going hard on the car, they'll go up to 210 and they won't pass 210. So it's a really good upgrade. The only thing I can see to modify on the car to improve cooling would be creating a custom shroud that goes around the oil cooler, since the oil cooler is slightly larger, not just in depth, but it is also slightly larger in height. So it doesn't cover the full oil cooler, so there is some blow by that goes past the oil cooler once there's a lot of pressure being built up in front of the oil cooler. So I'm gonna try to build a custom shroud that's gonna go around the oil cooler and the front bumper. That's all gonna come after I do the front bumper modification to the CSL. Alright, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can keep in touch with me and see all these new videos that are going to be popping up very soon. And yeah, that's it for today's video. See ya.